Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Paleo 101, where we're talking about fossils, minerals, and everything recorded in the Earth's rocks. Happy 2019 to you guys. I hope everybody had a safe Christmas and a great new year and a great start to this new year. I wanted to get into something that I don't normally get into. I've probably held off on this topic for a while, and I kind of wanted to get into it. And basically, what I'm going to talk about is why do people deny geological time? Why do people deny the concept of billions and millions of years? Millions and billions of years is a large time scale, a large time scale, and not a lot of people understand and can grasp the concept of millions and even billions of years. This Periarchus sand dollar from the Clinchfield Formation is 40 million years old. This brachiopod fossil from the Lower Montego Limestone Formation is 325 million years old. This Triceratops frill fragment is about 67 million years old. This dates back to the late Cretaceous period. This Periarchus sand dollar dates back to the Upper Eocene period of Georgia. And this brachiopod, this peripherate brachiopod, dates back to the Upper Mississippian period of the Carboniferous. So why do people deny geological time, and why do people deny deep time? Well, before I get into that, we must understand what deep time is. Deep time is the vast expanse of geological time recorded in the Earth's rocks. This is a large, significant amount of time that expands the notion of even minutes, seconds, and when we think of time, we usually think of seconds, minutes, days, centuries, even decades. Those are large amount of times. Decades is about 10 years. Centuries is about 100 years. But millions of years is something even further back in time as we go. So why do people deny that? Why do people deny millions and billions of years? Well, one of the reasons probably why is because they can't grasp that concept of millions and billions of years. We don't think of that all the time. As we think of centuries and seconds and minutes, we think of kinds of time scales constantly. But to think of an object or an event that took place in the past millions and billions of years ago, that is a little bit over the head of some people who may not understand geological time and may not have a good grasp of deep time. And so what I like to do is I like to use many examples for people to grasp and understand deep time a lot easier. Geologists and paleontologists can understand deep time at a much greater scale and a much easier way because they understand these things. But for people who don't understand geological time and don't understand deep time, it may be very hard for them to understand these topics and understand these concepts that are very, very important for our understanding of geology and paleontology. So people may not understand deep time. They're not used to thinking in those kinds of time scales, events and objects that took place over millions of years. And another thing why people deny deep time is simply because of their religious ideology, which is pretty sad because we have come a long way to understanding science and the scientific method. You would think that other people would understand that the Earth is certainly not 6,000 years, and it's certainly not younger than that. But unfortunately, you do have a small group of these people who do think that the Earth was forged in 6 or 7 days, and the Earth is only 6,000 years old. And that's simply not true, and we can see that in the geological record, in the paleontological record. We can understand that specific events had to take a large amount of time to happen. Plate tectonics could not have happened in just 6,000 years. 6,000 years is such a small amount of time. Plate tectonics has been happening for 1 billion years. And that's not just me making it up. This is based on all of science. This is based on geology. This is based on what we know about rocks and what we know about radiometric dating, how we can correlate rock layers. This is all based on science. But you have this group of people who want to deny all of it because they want to hold their religious beliefs superior of science, and that's simply not true. You can have your religious beliefs, of course, but you have to understand that a lot of these religious beliefs are allegory, that a lot of these things are just simply made up, and they're not based on reality, and they're not based on science. So we have to look at things, and we have to base them on reality, and we have to base them on what we see in science and what we see in the geological record and the paleontological record. And we don't see those 6,000 year time scale does not fit any of the geological events that took place. We can also look at that by rocks and minerals and things of that nature. This particular piece of granite is what I found a very long time ago. You can see that it has interlocking crystals inside. You've got the feldspar, which is the pink. You've got the biotite mica, which is the black. You've got the gray that is intermixed, which is the quartz. Granite forms underneath the Earth's surface, underneath the Earth's crust. It's a plutonic igneous rock, and granite has to form a very long time for these interlocking crystals to grow. So as magma cools underneath the Earth's surface, it grows large crystals, and that is all. And the larger the crystals grow, or the longer the time scale, the larger these crystals start to grow. So if you have a small amount of time, the crystals will grow a little. They won't be. They'll be naked. They'll be small to the naked eye, so you won't be able to see them very well. But if it takes a long amount of time for crystals to grow in this particular rock, the crystals will be visible and it'll be interlocking and very easy to see. This could not have happened in just 6,000 years. Granite cannot happen in just 6,000 years alone. You need to have a specific time scale to grow large crystals. And there are crystals even larger than granite. You've got pegmatites, and you've got other kinds of plutonic igneous rocks that have larger crystals, and even have bigger crystals than probably 3 feet, such as the beryl and tourmaline crystals that you may see on videos that people are pulling these crystals out of the ground. These can be reaching to about 3 feet in length. It did not, a small amount of time for those crystals to grow is just not possible for specifically quartz crystals and tourmaline and even garnet crystals. You need a large amount of time to create large crystals in granite and other plutonic igneous rocks. The 6,000-year-old time scale is simply not a good time scale, and it simply won't happen in just 6,000 years. Excuse me. So I really wanted to talk about that and understand that geological timescale is something that shouldn't be deniable. People shouldn't have to deny deep time just to hold their religious beliefs superior to science. You can have religious beliefs. There are other Christians, moderate Christians out there, who do understand that geological time is a fact, that deep time is a fact, that these things are true. They also have their religious beliefs in a God. You can have your religious beliefs and also understand that the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, and we can see that in the geological record today. So these fossils that we're finding, they're certainly not 6,000 years. And the geological events that took place, such as mountain building events, plate tectonics, biological events such as evolution, and mass extinctions cannot occur in just a 6,000-year-old time frame. That is simply just a small time frame and cannot happen with these geological events that stay whole and true to science.